guys, Cameron with Hope 2 Canine Rescue, and just shooting a quick video here with my girl Zoe, number one. Look at her, covered in grass and dirt. It's her favorite thing in the world to do. I'm cruising with her because she's officially adopted and we haven't updated you guys yet, so I wanted to share that with you. Kelly and James are adopting Mrs. Zoe. Thanks guys for that. I'm sure you've been looking for updates. Thanks for peeing on camera, dear girl. So I thought I better get her out here and let you guys see how she's doing. She's put some weight on again. She's looking really good, except for the pig in mud behavior that she loves to do out here. As soon as we hit the dirt, she just, bam, face planted and rolled around like a nut. But that's okay. We'll clean that ranch dressing off before she goes home. So let me get into my thoughts here before I lose them. I'm actually recovering from the flu, so forgive me if I get a little scatterbrained here and I look it. But I didn't want to lose this stuff, and this is really going to kind of go under the foster dog logs because I want to talk about the success that we have with these animals when they're in our program, and then the necessity of structure and consistency and a lot of those systems and processes to continue when the dogs go into their adoptive homes in order to create that same success. The downfall of these rescue dogs, you guys, is humanizing them. It is the single greatest mistake that a foster home or an adoptive home, or a trainer for that matter, makes in working with these dogs. It's just not logical. They're not humans. They're predators. They're canine. They are different. If you do want to apply human psychology, though, I have many videos, many times I have said, follow it all the way through, meaning think about an orphan, abused, abandoned orphan child. He or she still thrives better when she has the structure, accountability, and leadership dynamic with which to process and organize their pain, their fear, their frustration, their anger, right? They're always going to thrive better in a dynamic where they have direction on how to turn that pain into some sort of purpose. So the same thing applies with dogs. When they have had cumulative stress, which cultivates for many different sources, but certainly when there is a lack of stability, certainly when they don't have, I'll give you a little Zoe peek while I'm at it, certainly when they don't have foundation, when somebody hasn't given them consistency and leadership and provided for all their basic, biological needs, right? That's all behavior is. Kimberly Artley articulated this in our interview last year on the Unleash Your Dog's Best Summit series. All behavior is one or more of our basic needs that have been unmet. So these dogs, even if they come in the worst of conditions and you're bleeding heart because you can't believe humans could be so cruel or so negligent or so selfish, we truly have a lot of that in this community. Regardless, these dogs still thrive when you give them structure and rules and accountability and you show them the path to walk through all of that cumulative stress and to have things they can count on again. Things that are consistent, ritualized, reliable in their world. That's how we build confidence in these dogs. That's how we reduce reactivity in all its forms, right? Reactivity in terms of fear, reactivity in terms of attitude and like resentment and resistance, things that are different again in the canine language, not identical to the way humans process them, not as emotional as humans process them, but certainly could be considered similar, right? If our needs are not met, we're going to see behavior surface, and dogs are the same way. So if you're experiencing behavior in a foster dog or in a dog you've adopted, it means you're missing the mark on meeting the needs they have on a primal instinctual level. And you can't apply human psychology. You can't humanize these dogs to better behavior. It's not going to work. So getting back to my point about Miss Zoe, Zoe has some dog aggression history. She's got some really strong, dominant, bitchy tendencies, to be perfectly frank. And we were looking for a home with no other pets, no dogs, so that we could ensure that we would not have to worry about safety concerns. Because although we've created inhibition in her and she makes better choices when she's around dogs and can socialize and be tolerant around other dogs, we cannot trust her to make safe decisions if she's integrated into a pack without an extremely experienced handler. So we have in fact found that no pet home, right? But one of the great things that we experienced in locking down that home was that we sat with her adopters and we went over all of the realities of what life long-term will look like and require of them in spite of not having dogs. Zoe, come. Come. Good girl. In spite of being a no-pet home. Come. Figure it out. She let herself out the gate. They're going to need to be super consistent in their leadership, and they're going to need to provide constant accountability for this girl based on the fact that she's still just personality and temperament, headstrong, dominant. She's a Mastiff breed dog. That's pretty typical. She's pushy, and she has this history, right? She's practiced behaviors in the past of feeling anxious and insecure, of having separation anxiety on a certain level where she's explored getting out of the crate, because who would want to be in the crate if you've been previously allowed to be out of the crate, right? These are very common sense, you know, and typical behaviors that we encounter in these rescue dogs. But the deal is, we can't go down that path of, oh my gosh, she just misses her people and she wants to be with people, and oh, we feel so bad for her. Like, all that gets us is more problems, right? That's all that gets us. What we have to do, and what we do, and what creates success, and what her new family will do, is we have to say, the dog doesn't understand how to self-soothe. The dog doesn't understand how to be independent of the emotional, humanized relationship. Let's teach her how to do that. And that means practicing the thing that is hard and uncomfortable for her to do. That means showing her a different way of experiencing that hard thing, that she can actually be coached and guided to do it in bite-sized pieces and be successful and have reward for that, that it can feel better and different to live in that state versus the old state of constant, you know, addiction to attention and togetherness, right? So that's what we've done. That's what our new family will need to do. A really regimented crate program where she's in the crate consistently when they're gone or overnight, especially in the beginning, crating her even on the weekends when they're around for periods of time to keep the ritual and the routine going in those early days, weeks, and months. We talked a lot about the relationship dynamic of not sharing affection without a purpose, not giving the dog attention every time she comes over and seeks it, not immediately connecting with their dog when they arrive home from work, even if they feel that they've been gone for a long day. What is the #1 temptation that you face when you come home and you've had your dog home all day? Oh, I feel guilty, I want to let them out immediately, and oh my gosh, they've been cooped up and they need to get out and move. That's the #1 response we see that cultivates separation anxiety and gets really, really stressed, anxious dogs who are also really obnoxious. You let them out, they're crazy, they do behavior such as jumping on you, nipping at you, running on furniture. We get contact forms all the time for training clients whose dogs are making those decisions, and in fact the owner has actually set them up to make those mistakes and then wonders why they're doing it and is frustrated that they're doing it. So Zoe's situation is going to be a really great, you know, true rescue example in my opinion. It's a family who stepped up to fulfill her needs with the circumstance and environment they have uniquely matched to what she needs. They're also going to have to make certain commitments and be consistent in how they interact with her to set the stage and lay the foundation the way we did, to where it will be like boot camp when she comes home. They will not be able to jump into this emotional, humanized, affectionate relationship with her right away. She will need to be told that she has to earn that. She will need to be shown that they're going to provide structure and rules and boundaries and accountability the same way her trainers and foster families have done. And they will need to slowly explore how much of this connection stuff and this emotion stuff and togetherness stuff can they give her before there may be a little bit of fallout. And then they will be watching that like a temperature gauge and adjusting how they give it, how they pull it back until she really settles in and becomes clear about her position, her role, her comfort level in that environment and dynamic, and her level of respect for their leadership, right? That's super duper important. So getting a little bit long in the tooth here, and I do apologize, I was trying to keep it brief, but I really hope that this resonates and is helpful for some of you. I just wanted to share that with you guys, that it's really, really important that we stop humanizing dogs. Literally the downfall of these rescue dogs in particular, let alone our family dogs, and why behavior is developing or not resolving fast enough, is humanizing the dog. You've got to drop that behavior. It's so important. You can have so much more success and enjoyment of your dog. You can have so much more connection, honestly, calmness and respect in your relationship with your dog if you just respect that they're individuals as primal canine beings, and they need that structure, leadership, boundaries, rules, accountability, direction, and guidance in order to move forward, especially from difficult behavioral past, lack of stability, and you know, even abuse and pretty severe stress or trauma. It's really, really important. So this young lady has actually had a really, really great result being with us. We're really happy to be able to give her, you know, a platform to thrive. We're really excited that we have an adoptive family eagerly awaiting bringing her home. She goes home, I think, this weekend. And I just wanted to take advantage of the opportunity to use her story to talk about, you know, what it looks like through the program to create great results, and then also well beyond the program, because her family's really stepping up and committing to following through on certain things that wouldn't necessarily be the most fun or you know, fulfilling way to rescue a dog, but are truly going to impact way more success than what most people experience when they bring home a rescue dog and immediately start to have a ton of emotion, a ton of human psychology applied. In fact, they've been through that experience before, and a lot of times what happens in that dynamic is the dog ends up with behavior issues you can't resolve, and you figure it's not the right placement, and the dog returns. We've experienced that in our organization, folks who didn't understand going into it enough clarity about what to expect and how to step up in solid leadership and to truly rescue these animals. And then the dogs are the ones that end up getting bounced around even more and struggling even more to recover, to rehab, to develop themselves foundation and stability, and to be successful in the world. It's really unfair, and we've just got to stop doing it. So thanks for watching so much, you guys. Thanks for sharing the content, for counseling and coaching and supporting you know, really responsible rescue work amongst your peers, your friends, your family. We're going to do everything we can in this new year to bring you more content, more education, more resources to do it better, and to really bring folks along in the journey of understanding a healthier way to lead in their relationship with their dogs, especially in those rescue scenarios where there's cumulative stress, there's some complicated background history, but it really truly doesn't matter. If you approach the dog as a canine, if you approach the dog as a predator, if you look at the pack dynamic and how desperately they're seeking leadership and structure and order and things they can count on, it's a pretty simple formula, and you can resolve things much faster than most folks realize if you just commit to sticking with that process. All right, guys, I'll talk to you later. Have a great day.